looks flawless.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you look great today. You look like you're glowing. Are you, did you do something this morning?
I just had a shower. Not that that's rare. Not that that's rare. Yeah, I actually didn't sleep that well. So
you'd never know. You look like actually like a well-rested, full-on baby. Like your eyes are like, you have no bags. It's crazy.
Take it. Wow. Okay, great. Well,
Don't you feel weird when someone goes like, "Oh, you look great today," and you're like, "Yeah, I showered." It's always the case though, isn't it? It's always like, I just showered.
But my hair is still wet. I just got out of the shower.
Maybe that's what, I like that look though. Wet look is in, I think. Yeah,
it reminds me of Britney Spears back in the day when she did I think that's maybe why we're conditioned to like it so much. Because that really was impactful when we were little kids.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I remember when Slave for You came out, I was like, this is what sex is. Like, I have no idea what sex
group
actually
showering.
is.
Pulsating together. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah,
and
totally.
Dirty by Christina Aguilera, same thing. She was so wet.
Yeah, that was a crazy era of content that we were just consuming as children and being like, yes, I'm ready for adulthood. I was like, can't wait to get to the club. This looks so fun.
Exactly. Dudes in huge furry costumes, just the heads, naked bodies.
Red Man just like popping out of nowhere.
I loved that era. I really did.
Yeah, that was...
It's too bad it doesn't actually exist. Like if you
elementary school. I know. Well,
I like that.
Yeah, I keep seeing TikToks where it's like, when I was little, I thought the club was going to be this. And then it's like that movie Honey when Jessica Alba is dancing in the club and everyone's like, oh, and then you actually go to a club and you're like, oh, this feels sad.
It's gross. It's so true. I thought there'd be more dance circles for sure. As a young man learning how to break dance, I was like, this is going to come in handy when I'm older.
Totally. You're like, well, I'm training.
Yeah.
I'm in training for the club. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spare Parts.
Welcome.
This is a very fun episode because we're just going to do a cute little season 2 recap with you guys and kind of talk about some of our favorite moments from this season, things that stood out, and just generally have like a little chit chat because I've been away.
Yeah. Michelle was away for working girl, booked and blessed.
Booked and blessed. And same with you. And same with Alana.
We're all booked and blessed.
Isn't it funny how quickly things can change? Because I did, obviously you and Alana did the episode last week. Thank her from me for doing that. It was so good. But a lot of the stuff that you guys were talking about, it was really relatable and nice to air it out. Because I think sometimes the perception of actors that are currently employed or have been employed for a long period of time are just endlessly confident about what they do and where they're going. And it just couldn't be further from the truth. So
yeah, as soon as you book something that is like in any way substantial, you're like, well, where's the next substantial thing?
Yeah.
Or else.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, so I've got 6 months on this project. And then, all right, how do I leverage this? And it's a wacky job choice. But at the same time, I don't know how I felt like when I was on this set, if I may speak to it for a minute. And it was an indie movie. It was, it wasn't a super big production, but I just had so many moments where I looked around and I was like, I cannot believe this is all of our jobs. Like, it's so funny in a way that we're all like running around. It's a 13-hour day and everyone's like stressed. And you almost have to go, we're playing make-believe right now and getting paid to do that as adults.
Yeah, especially for us. I mean, the actors, like, I can kind of understand how like someone doing the carpentry on set is like, wow, I have to build this thing or else it's going to crush and kill someone.
Oh yeah.
You and I are like, where's my jacket? Where's my coffee?
Yeah. And then there's someone there that gets it for you.
Because
and that actually makes me feel, and that actually kind of makes me feel sick sometimes. So many moments on set, I'm like, oh my God, people are like, can I grab you a dip? I'm like, please. It makes me actually uncomfortable. But did you see that interview? Actors get treated.
Did you see that interview though with, I believe it was Cameron Diaz, who was talking about how she was very uncomfortable with that. She obviously became an actor overnight when somebody saw her at the bank screaming at a teller. And so she was put into The Mask like the next day, like went from nothing to that.
She's also so beautiful.
She's beautiful and she's a great actor, super funny, natural instincts for sure. But she was talking about how she never understood why people doted on her so excessively on set. And then a producer just basically told her like, you're an investment. If we can't find you, we lose $1,000 a minute. We need to know exactly where you are so that when we're ready to roll the cameras, we have you available, because you're the only person who I need to be able to see in order to start the scene. Like, so you can't go anywhere. You can't, if you're going to go pee, we better time it.
Tell somebody.
And you go, I'm going to go pee pee. And they go, okay, I'm going to make sure that you go pee pee and I'm going to be here. So they can't lose you, which is it's more about not so much like you must be doted on or you're going to freak out. I don't think people think like Michelle's a diva.
I start crying.
She is, and she will. But more so, we need Michelle right now to get the shot. The sun is just right. And you don't need anyone else necessarily to that extent, because actors are also cats. They get lost.
We don't know where we're going.
They don't know where they're going.
What we're doing. We're scared.
So, we're scared. And we, so that's more to do with it. Less diva.
Agreed.
Yeah?
That stuff I totally get. I get the what are you doing? Because your time is it needs to be checked on always for exactly the reasons you said. But I more so mean the while we're there, while we're present, the kind of do you need a little snack? Do you need a little, but and you're in your 30s, it just feels kind of, I sometimes feel, and you know what the thing is, it's so lovely to have people make sure that you're kind of ready and emotionally ready to be in the scene and have what you need and you're hydrated and stuff. And I'm really always thankful when people do it. And I think that's the difference. As long as you're just really appreciative and you are kind of aware that this is a bit of a luxury and people are treating you really well.
No, I need more of it. If somebody isn't on set and they aren't massaging I need one person on my shoulders. I need one person feeding me, grapes.
Yeah.
I'm a diva.
Well, of course.
I need my snackies.
And I think it also depends on the role that you're doing too. Cause I've done darker projects where it's I really do need to be left alone to get myself emotionally in that state. Again, being an actor, it is so inherently humiliating.
So embarrassing. Oh, most people are not this embarrassed to do it, though. I feel like you and I are maybe a little too in touch with our humanity. We're too aware of how embarrassing this is. I know a lot of actors who don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and maybe there's something to that. I do think my kind of sweet spot, and I've probably said this before, it's a super unoriginal thought, but it's take the work seriously, don't take yourself seriously. And if you're kind of in that zone.
I've never heard that. That's beautiful.
But you know what I mean? I think that's the sweet spot. You are just like everybody else, but your work is important for this production and it should be important to you. So
someone's livelihood is on the line in every show you do. Yeah, there's some person out there who staked their house. I will tell you that.
Yes.
So always take it seriously. Always do a good job. And then who knows, you might get brought back.
Yeah. Come prepared. But I think there is I do sometimes notice when actors are kind of so untouchable and they don't interact with the crew in a way that it's just whether you agree with that or not, or whether you need that or not, it's just kind of a bad vibe on set. And this set was really nice because the crew was so fun and they were really young crew too. So it was very much the energy was high. People were down to be creative. It wasn't a set where everyone's been doing this for 35 years, which is fine and brings a whole other energy too. Yeah. But this was kind of nice because we were at the end of a 13-hour day one day. There was we were doing stunts and I with the other actor, I was oh, it'd be so funny if we got this kind of extra insert and kind of joking about this almost cartoony shot. And we were sort of talking about it. And then our DP overheard us and he was wait, that's actually a good idea. Why don't we just get it? End of day. Let's just get it. Yeah. And we just got this extra fun shot just to have it. And who knows if they'll use it or not. But it was now they have the everyone choice. Was on board. Yeah. And I was cool. That's so fun.
Collaboration is nice.
Yeah. And it is rare. And sometimes you don't have the luxury because you literally don't have the time. But it just kind of felt really people were down to work extremely hard and push the limits to make it happen. And again, it wasn't a huge production, so it wasn't this money-making machine, but it was a lot of heart. And that was really cool. I can pretty
much guarantee that that's going to make it into the film, the energy of that. When there's a collaboration on set and it's fun to make it, people can tell. It shows up in the work. It really does.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what happened with Letterkenny. Everyone was so on set. We had Billy and stuff who are just our DP and our ADs were just we're goofing. We're having a good time on and off set. It shows up because you're oh, we're having fun with our friends.
Yeah, and I guess that is really how you get like the creative juices flowing. And this was a darker project. It's definitely like, it's not light. Right. Like it's pretty dark.
From what I've heard, not Letterkenny to be.
No, not Letterkenny. The one that I just did. It's called, the working title right now is called Lumi, and it's a feature film.
I met a dog named Lumi today.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
He played with Dewey. Interesting.
It's a cute name.
Yeah, it means like light in Norwegian or some shit. I don't know.
There's a language in the tribe up in Yellowknife that I think only 2,000 people speak, and it shows up a lot in this movie. Oh, so it was also really cool to kind of like, I don't know, just represent obviously this language. I didn't speak it, but the indigenous actors on the film do. And and there was like songs in this language, and it was kind of like, what is the word I'm looking for?
Art as preservation is really important. That's what I'm saying. Really interesting.
And it's a beautiful way to do it and represent it. And it's such a beautiful language. It was like incredibly emotional, and it was really cool. It was
I'm excited for you.
Nice time.
Do you have more to do, or is it wrapped for you?
It's wrapped. So
amazing.
So it's done. It was a month.
This is something we need to talk about that no one, if you're not an actor out there, you don't know this.
Here we go.
Whenever you rap on a show, they go, and that's a rap on Michelle Milet. And then everybody is forced to clap.
They're forced to clap
at you. It is the most uncomfortable tradition that we have for sure.
And it's so, again, this is where I understand people being like, God, this is some like elitist bullshit, because everybody is now going to be rapping out, and nobody worked harder than anyone else. We all just worked in different ways for different reasons. So to get a round of applause, it's almost like these precious little actors need their widow applause.
Okay, so I will argue for the sake of clapping just to add a balance here. Okay. And I don't know if I believe this, but this is the argument I've heard. This is going to sound maybe bad, but all of these crew have been forced to watch this actor work for like a month straight. And maybe they've really enjoyed their work. And there is something really like, when you clap at the end of a performance, it makes you feel good because you get to let out this like kind of, by banging your hands together, you feel an expression of like, I appreciated that. That was interesting to watch for a month. Which like people, like I get that at the end of a play, I want to clap because I'm like, oh, thank God, I've been sitting still for like 2 hours.
Okay. Where did you hear that?
On set someday. I think I maybe brought it up to, I think this might even have been a Jacob special. We'll have to run it by him. But Jacob's been on set for his entire life. His dad is a producer. You know what I mean? Like there's just like, okay.
Talking about that
let's never talk about Jacob again after this. This is the last time we talk about him.
He gets enough clout.
He does get enough clout. Christ. But he does have a lot of insight into like these tiny traditions of being on stage. And he's the first person to be like, okay, we're wrapping Michelle for the season. And he really does take it seriously. He makes everyone clap. Mm-hmm. Like he does that, which is unique because you wouldn't think Jacob would.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, look, it's lovely, and as it is. I'm sorry, it is.
Yeah, you changed your tune. You need a widow actor.
It's embarrassing and lovely all at the same time. Like these things are synonymous to me, but I do think that there is something about like putting yourself emotionally out there. Day after day, 13 hours a day in front of a group of people, being asked to do things that are sometimes like pushing your own boundaries, There is like a nice kind of, maybe it's just traditional to do that. Like it's been happening since theater started. You don't fuck with tradition. Yeah, and you don't fuck with tradition. No, it's nice. All these like funny little kind of set culture things. It's funny and it's strange in some ways, but it's also really lovely. And I felt really happy to be on set. It's also such a weird thing though, to be living in a hotel away from home for a month, just by yourself. And your whole world is like hotel to set.
Are you a weirdo with it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'm a weirdo in hotels.
Tell me about your weird. What are some of the weird things you do? Tell me. I want to know.
In the hotel, the first thing I do is I don't put my luggage on the ground because Mark Forward told me that's where the bed bugs get in. So I put my luggage on the counter space or on the fold out thing.
On the fold out thing.
And then I basically like explode. When I get into a hotel room, I take everything out right away and I just explode everywhere. I take all of my toiletries, I just throw them all over the bathroom. Okay. I have a shower right away. As soon as I get into a hotel room, I have to have a shower. I sleep with like 5 pillows. I don't do this at home, but in a hotel, I have one between my legs. I'm cuddling one. I have one under my head. I have one behind my back. Like I'm like an animal in a hotel room.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't let the cleaning staff in the entire time I'm there. I put a do not disturb. I tip them very well at the end. But I make a mess. I eat in there, all the food's everywhere. Like I eat in bed. I'm like, I turn into a disgusting, like I can't do this at home.
Yeah, so I think in the hotel room,
I'm like shaving my body hair in the bathroom, like standing up in the middle of the bathroom, like fucking weird stuff that I would never do at home. But I'm like,
yeah,
ordering food and just eating.
I get that. I do. So okay, so I do the same thing with the entry. So I suitcase up, I unpack everything, and then I like to get all my toiletries out because I'm quite a skincare person, which we'll discuss later. But so I put out little little hand towels on the counters, and then I have sections. So I've got makeup on one towel, kind of lined up like a psychopath, and then whatever skincare, hair stuff. It's all got its.
Why do you
spot.
put it on the towels?
I don't know.
Oh, weird. I
don't
like
know.
It
makes no sense. But I like categories of things. And when it's on its little thing, it's like that's its spot.
We're just animals, aren't we?
Yeah, it's very, it's off. And then and then I do get my room clean, but I don't do it every day. I do maybe like 3 times a week, especially if it's like a long haul that I'm there, because I'm not trying to make the staff make my bed every day. That's weird.
No, I hate that. I hate the feeling of knowing someone came in and made the bed for me. I'm always
saw your mess.
Oh, well, that's true. I would like to clarify, before the staff come in at the end of my stay, I have cleaned up myself. Yeah. I've taken all the sheets. I've kind of like put them aside. I've put all the towels on the ground. I've thrown all my garbage away. I'm not leaving like blood stains and like pizza boxes everywhere. Okay. I'm quite ashamed of doing that. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So this hotel was kind of like a residence / hotel. So it was more of a suite, and then there's like laundry downstairs. It was a really nice hotel. It was a Marriott, but it was like for people that are doing more long-term stays, I guess.
Yeah.
So there was like a little kind of area where you could buy snacks and stuff. So my routine was every day I got 2 orange bubblies and 1 can of orange juice. And then I'd have like sparkling orange juice in the morning. You know what I mean? Like you just have all these little things. Like I had this whole other weird hotel life for the last month. I was just so isolated. And then I was playing like kind of a bizarre character that was also very different from anything I've ever played before. Very physical and not how do I say? I don't know. It was like insular. Like I was in my head a lot, solo and not connected to like anyone, like in the work and in life. And so it was a weird time. Like I feel like I also feel like my muscles all atrophied because I didn't work out for a month. And it was a lot of me just like still. So I need to get moving. I love hearing about people's processes in this way, like not even just on set and how they act, but like how their life changes around the character they do. Because it is so like you get into a routine, you get into a weird, creepy, all to yourself tradition. Like there was I'm going to blame TikTok for this, but I heard about Pedro Pascal's coffee order the other day. He orders 6 shots of espresso in a cup. And like that's what our DP drinks on Lumi. His name's Spiro. He's an Italian man, and he had like I thought he was drinking a huge thing of Coke every day, and it's just full
just
espresso.
Full of espresso. And he's like that was the most invasive thing, having the paparazzi catch that order. Like they saw it on his cup and they were like, what? 6 shots of espresso? Because like it is an intimate thing, like you buying your 2 little orange bubblies and your orange juice and being like weirdly like mixing your potion.
Them in my room alone. Yes.
Just like drinking it every day, and if I miss it, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
No, it was my routine.
Yeah, you'll become anxious.
It's what I did.
It helps you to like balance when you have control. You're like, I'm making choices.
Yes, I'm making big choices for myself. And it's also, there's something weird about being like, if you have a partner or like a dog, having no routine that you would normally have, and no connection and no accountability in the same way of like I would go on my days off, I wouldn't speak.
Right.
And I had to be like, you need to call somebody. You need to like, but it is weird. And you're right about different roles require different things. Like I can lean on the more introverted side, as you know. And so like my social battery is pretty limited, but I love to be social. It's just like, I have to pick and choose. But for Letterkenny, for example, Katie's a very social person. She's with people all the time, and that's presumably how she likes it. And that's the decision I made in my head. She likes it. She wants to be around people. She wouldn't
be there if she didn't want to be. She does what she wants.
And she's pretty codependent with her brother and vice versa, and his friends. Like they are very much those types of people. I am not that way. So with Katie and Letterkenny, like I really, as you may laugh because you know how little I hung out, but I really pushed myself to hang out as much as possible to kind of get that activated in myself.
You made an effort. I saw you make an effort many times where you rallied to come out, and you'd be like, and I'd be like, Michelle, I'm going to text you. And if you don't want to come out, it's okay, but I will text you and I will let you know where we're going. And you'd be like, okay.
And I really appreciated it.
And you oftentimes would show up, and then sometimes you would just go to Jacob's house and have wine.
Yeah.
Alone.
And eat roast chicken.
And eat roast chicken. You guys did have your own little kind of like duo thing, which I got to poke my head in on occasionally. And I was always like, wow, you guys are like Will and Grace. Like that's really that's kind of what it feels like.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
That's really funny. One time we ate roast chicken. Well, he loves to make roast chicken. Mm-hmm. He's really good at it.
He's a great cook.
He's a great cook.
Why are we talking about Jacob again?
I'm sick of him. I'm sick of him.
Me too. Go on.
Okay, last story. But we got so stoned and we watched Keanu, that movie about the little kitten. And I don't think I've ever laughed harder. I think I was emotional.
It's John Wick,
cute.
But Key and Peele, right? Is that what it
Key
is?
and Peele. Yeah. And it's about them like on some kind of like, I mean, could barely remember the plot at this point, but there's like the cutest kitten you've ever seen, and it's like tied up in the mob, and somebody in the mob stole the kitten, and they have to like go against the mob to get this little kitten back. If anyone is listening and hasn't seen this movie, you must watch this movie. It's
Keanu's a must watch. Okay.
No, I'm telling you, have you not seen it?
I think I have, though, is the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure I have seen Keanu, but it's actually kind of so similar to actual John Wick that it's hard to remember. Because it's like, it's kind of serious.
It's
like,
kind of frame
scary.
for frame.
It's kind of exactly the same movie.
Yeah, I highly recommend. But anyways, I do, that resonates a lot what you said about like just, and this character that I was playing was pretty not attached to anyone or anything in a traditional sense. And so I just kind of was such an introvert for the last month that it's kind of funny coming back and like having to be, but I feel good. It's good. I'm glad it wasn't longer than a month because I would have turned into a full freak.
Yeah. I mean, no, you're fine. You're fine, Michelle. You're doing okay.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel pretty good.
And you were mostly working with a child, right? So that's a whole other, like, you don't really get to bond with it. You can't be like, hey, let's go for a glass of wine. Like,
well, no, she's not a real child, right? She's 16.
That's a child. I mean, you
of course it's a child.
Actually hang out.
No, but I got to give, she was
good, eh?
Heaven to work with her. She was so, first of all, such a talent, so lovely, so professional. Her and her mom, she had like the perfect kind of mom of an actor.
You need a good stage mom or else you are forked for life.
And she totally like let her do her thing, be herself, do her work, connect with people. But she was there in a way that didn't feel like overbearing, but was so obviously necessary because she's only 16 and she needs to have, she needs to have somebody looking out because she's not an adult, period. And we had so many like great chats and it was just so fun, like peeking into the life of a teen. And like, she was like, she's like telling me all about her friends and like what's going on. And like, she's on Snapchat all day, like snapping.
Did you guys do videos like TikToks and stuff?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
I would feel too silly.
Right. She didn't ask you? She wasn't like, hey, big sis, let's do it.
No, we didn't. It wasn't like, I didn't encroach on her life in that way, but like we just had some really cute conversations. She's so smart and it's like teenagers are just so cool. And I think we need to give them more credit.
That's fair.
Because they're coolest. And like, she was just up on things and you're like, oh my God, you're so young still. And so kind of kid core. And I hope you kind of maintain that. But at the same time, you're like tapped into things and you're so smart. And it was just a lovely little experience.
I'm really happy to hear that.
It was cute.
It can go a couple different ways working with kids. And that's great. I'm glad to hear that it was the good way.
I once worked with a 6-year-old boy and he would not stop slapping my ass. I'm not joking. And his mom would not do anything about it. And so I had to come up with a system where if he didn't touch me inappropriately, he would get points throughout the day. And at the end of the day, I would give him like a sticker. It was psychotic and nobody helped me. And I was like 24 years old and I was playing his mom and I didn't know what the hell to do. And it was like,
so not your job.
No, this like little gnarly boy.
Little rat boy.
I didn't know how to hang.
Damn, I mean, I'm glad you didn't have that experience again.
So that was like kind of worst case scenario, I guess?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh God, that is wild. That is wild.
Weird. It was weird. It was super weird.
I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't know how to handle that. I'd just be like, help someone.
Well, it's also like parenting somebody else's child is just inappropriate, right? So like I didn't know. And then, but the mother was like, yeah, whatever you need to do. I was like, and I should have said to her, no. I just, at 24, I was like, I need to like manage this because I have to do my work. And these scenes are heavy scenes. And is like,
it wasn't even like a comedy or something. It was like, oh God.
Yeah, it was, and it was also like, we had to have so many scenes where it's like, you know, it's mother-child love. It's so close and so sweet. And he was a really cute little kid, but he just was kind of naughty in that way. And I think he didn't. Yeah, and he like didn't. It wasn't like he didn't know what he was doing or the implications. Yeah, he was just being obnoxious and
was he
probably
good at least at acting.
Yeah, like I mean, he's 6.
I know, but sometimes sometimes a 6-year-old is just like natural, and you're like, oh, you're the best you'll ever be, and you'll only get worse from here.
Oh my God,
you know what I mean? Like some actors are like they start off natural, and then they just unlearn everything because it's like you become self-aware, and you start to see yourself on camera, and you start to like really think about the way your face looks, and you're like, oh no.
Right. And you're like holding your mouth in a weird way to make your lips look better.
When I was in,
or it's such as me.
Exactly. When I was just out of university and I just got into Toronto and just before my first agent, I went to these acting classes, and one of the only notes I got was you use your eyebrows too much. And I was like, what? And I was so in my fucking head.
Yeah.
And then after a while I was like, hey, fuck you. I'm just going to go with my own instincts. And then like I started working because it's like, what the fuck does anybody know?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Answer.
Nothing.
Yeah, and like what you bring to the table is
it's my eyebrows is what I bring to the table, okay?
And, but that's expressive. That's how you express. That's how you emote. So to suppress that, I was told once that in scenes where I'm supposed to go to anger, I well with tears, and like I cry really easily. That's just something I like do in my like when I'm upset or
seems like a really honest reaction to anger. Yeah.
True, but I was told, and then I tried to like form it and then I was suppressing all of this emotion. And then I had another acting coach later being like, that is like a superpower to have. Your ability to access that level of emotion and that intensity. Why would you try to stifle that? That's authentic to you. You're not forcing tears. Totally. That's what your body does.
Yeah.
And
you're in tune. You're tapped in. You're like very vulnerable and frayed. And sometimes people can push you to a limit, which is, that's
big time.
Big time.
I'm always right on the verge of tears.
Right on the verge of tears.
When I first started working at Earl's, my friend Emma, she was like, you would walk around and everyone would be like, is she about to cry?
We have huge eyes.
And they're always a bit watery. And everyone thought that I was like on the verge of tears for the first time. And then they like talked to me and they're like, oh, she's not emotional. She's fine.
She's fine. Yeah. And but to be fair, I think of you as like, yes, you can get to a place that's very emotional, but I always think of you as a pretty like stoic person as well. You're kind of one of two coin. Like I find you very in control and very stoic and very kind of like, and I don't mean that like cold. I don't think you're cold at all.
Yeah.
But you're just like in control. Like you're pretty like, I hesitate to use the word badass.
I thought you were going to say boss bitch. And I was like, please that's way worse.
But the same sentiment really. I mean, you are in control a lot of the time. And like, you're really good in like public situations where you meet new people. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's a really nice compliment.
Which I think is a good indicator that you're not like particularly like on the verge of tears all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think I just have big, round, like watery eyes. And so
you got alien face. You got like actor alien girl face where you have a beautiful little chin and like big eyes and like you know what I mean? That's the actor look. That is like, you have the same faces. I looked her up. The woman who you said is the most beautiful woman in the world, Depp.
Lily Rose Depp.
You have a very similar shape and you could be her sister.
Evan, don't fucking say that to me.
Do.
If you don't really mean it with your whole chest.
You could be her sister.
Say it with your chest. Sister. That's the nicest thing you've ever would ever say.
First thing I thought when I saw her, I was like, wow. Michelle likes her because she looks like her.
Well, that's kind of a gross thing about me then.
Ego.
Yeah, that's a bit of an ego moment. I think
Rami Malek's the hottest guy on earth. So
he is.
Just
and
joking.
You're beautiful, Evan. You're a beautiful man. No, and I don't look that much like Lily Rose Depp, but I do have big watery eyes that always look like they're on the verge of tears. And I think to your point, we do have to lean into what we like naturally bring to the table.
Exactly.
And that's it.
That's it. That's like, that should be the first thing you learn in acting class is like, what's special about you? The way you look, the way you present yourself, what's unique about you? Yeah. And it's like the corniest shit in the world, but like, that's what people want to see. And that's what people find interesting. Like Walton Goggins is like, people find him sexy, not because he's a sexy looking guy, because he's himself, unabashedly so.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know what? Thank you, Walton, for bringing that hairline into the public. He has the exact same hairline, and exact same bald spot, and exact same hair length as me. I was like, I've always loved Walton Goggins since the days on The Shield and Justified. Wow. And I'm like, to have him as a person who people think is attractive, I'm like, let's go back to fucking Jack Nicholson and Billy Crystal, and then maybe Evan Stern could be in a Hallmark movie. Okay, let's get some freaks in there. Let's have some fun.
Okay, first of all, not freaks, genuinely attractive. Okay, sure, but like
a little bit attractive, but with some gremlin in there.
Sure, but like, why is that not attractive?
Totally.
I find the kind of stereotypical like hot guy thing that we see. I don't really know a lot of women who are into that. I'll say that.
I know. Okay. Men like hot men.
Yes,
more so.
exactly.
Men like a man with a straight nose and a big jaw.
And we're like, okay.
Women like a guy with like weird hair who's like,
women
I like
Pete
poetry.
Davidson. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
People like Nathan Fielder. Is that just me?
Well, your boyfriend looks a lot like Nathan Fielder. Interesting.
My boyfriend does?
I think so. I think he
Connor
looks
like Nathan Fielder.
Well, like a handsomer Nathan Fielder. He looks like Nathan Fielder if he was an underwear model. But yes, I know what you mean. Like with the hair and the.
I just think, like I don't.
Sorry,
I don't
Connor.
Think,
by the way.
No, I find Nathan Fielder. He's definitely on the list of people that I would be so. I could like speaking of not being
You'd
or
be
being
weird
stoic.
about it?
I would not be stoic around him. I'd be like, "You're so funny." I like your song Diane and Annika that's on YouTube
Nathan
from
Fielder?
2006. Oh, I'm like. I can't believe
I feel like
how
he's
bizarre
attainable.
he is.
Like he's a Montreal guy. Like we could like reach out to him.
He's a Vancouver
probably.
guy.
Oh, he just went to school in Montreal.
He's from Vancouver.
That's the intro to all the Nathan for you is I went to one of the best schools in Canada.
Concordia
University.
Or the university.
It's a university.
I think he's such a weird brain, and I just think he's like obviously so smart and talented.
I would have him on the podcast. He would be so weird here. I don't know what he would be like as a guest. Like, would he be doing a character the whole time? Is that what he's really like? Do you know?
I don't know.
He's doing a character.
So okay. I couldn't say for sure, but I do. Kayla has met him or knows him and like knows his friends. And apparently that is who he is.
Really?
Yeah. Like I'm sure he lays it on and there's a character, but I think there is like, he does have those, I don't know, tendencies. Like that's his personality.
His
like
actual mannerism, like what he thinks is funny.
And I think he's also pretty severely introverted. So like I don't think it would be also a great exchange because I'd be like, hi, and he'd be like, I don't want this.
Just gets worse and worse. What about like, do you know Dax Flame as well?
Why do I know that name?
Because he's all over the internet as well. He was in a couple movies like 21 Project X and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
He was in all those movies and he presents a very awkward character and no one can figure out whether or not that's real. And it's the same kind of like, it's such an extreme level of awkwardness and of like antisocial. It's like, why are you even in front of a camera?
Right.
Right? Like,
yeah, that's, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's probably something to be said for just like playing into, it's like the Michael Cera thing. You're like, he's so like quirked out. But I think that is who he is. Like, you can't keep that up for so long. Or maybe they're just really good actors.
Right. Michael Cera in This Is the End, when he's playing like a piece of shit cokehead.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
He's like, where's my fucking phone, you guys?
He slaps Rihanna's ass and then she slaps him. Oh my God.
So good.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I guess we should talk about Letterkenny a little bit.
Let's get into Letterkenny season 2, guys.
I loved it.
I loved it. What's there to say? Well, there's a lot to say. Okay. I loved this season. I do think that like season 1 was very much throwing things at the wall and seeing what stuck. Obviously, it was really thought out and like super well executed, and most things actually did stick. Season 2 feels like a continuation where the tone and everything, the characters, we're just all kind of, we're in our chest now.
Everything's getting ironed out in the second season for sure. Like in the first season, it was a lot of like testing the grounds and being like, well, what is this show? How do you make a narrative show out of a YouTube shorts? Like, how does this work?
Why does Katie have a bit of a Southern accent? We don't know.
Sure.
But in season 2, why is her hair so straight and her makeup so off? But then season 2, things have kind of softened. The edges have softened, and we're sort of all...
We're breathing a bit more. We're having fun.
And we also... I think we realized too that people liked it, and that, I mean, that gives you confidence. So like we all have some confidence in season 2 in a cool way where it's like we're taking some more risks across the board.
Absolutely.
Which is fun. I do feel like this is, I mean, it's always a big season for Lisa Gale, but this is a great season for Gale because season 1, she's in there, but it's kind of like, what's going on? Season 2, you're like waiting for her in every episode.
They let her
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they let her out of the bar in season 2. She's allowed to come to the Dragon's Den pitch and pitch her idea for. Was her idea The Bachelor?
Bachelor, yeah.
The Bachelor.
Iconic.
And then they let her out for finding Stormy a stud to try and find a dog to fuck Wayne's dog.
Yeah.
She's allowed out, and she's doing a great job out in actual Letterkenny. So it's nice to see her show up a bunch more.
It's just nice to see her. It's nice to see some more of the female characters kind of being in the forefront in season 2. Like we were always there, but it's just like a little bit more presence.
Mrs. McMurray coming in hot in season 2.
Extremely hot. It only gets hotter as we go along. It gets really wild. I mean, we didn't go over this episode, which is too bad because it is in season 2. We shot it in season 2, the St. Perfect's Day episode, which is kind of one of my personal favorites because I just remember having so much fun shooting it. And this was the era where, I mean, I guess it happened in every single season, but the amount of slow motion walks that I did on Letterkenny.
Yeah.
And there's such a crazy one in the St. Perfect's Day. And I like have a sucker and it's like a slow motion sucker as I'm making eye contact with Mrs. McMurray. And then I take her into the bathroom. We come out all fucked up and our clothes are like swapped. Our shirts are swapped.
Yeah.
It's pretty like...
It is very much it's an iconic episode. I think we should maybe watch it even before we get to season 3. Like, I don't know, maybe next week's episode is we watch St. Perfect's Day. Is that weird? Or should we just get right into season? I don't know. We can talk about this off air.
Yeah,
you and I can decide.
But guys, will you comment in the
let us know.
Instagram, wherever, like leave us some comments about should we do, even though it's past St. Patrick's Day, should we do our own little St. Perfect's Day celebration with you guys? Because we did shoot it in season 2.
We did.
Right?
And we did because DeJordy's still there and it's the last episode you'll see him in.
Yeah, true.
Because this is the end of DeJordy in this season. And then we go into season 3 where it's a lot of stuff coming up in season 3 where it's the winter season. We've got the introduction of Sarah Gadden's character Gay. who basically is the replacement for DeJordy in that world until I guess my character becomes the actual second right-hand man person.
Yeah.
And then also, season
I'm
3.
blonde. I'm very blonde. Big news.
Huge news, actually. You're blonde in season 3. And then we also get the French element in season 3. So there's like a lot of stuff that happens then. So this is kind of like the last part of like original web series world of Letterkenny in my mind. This is where it kind of is the end of that.
That's true. And it's also, I feel like the first 2 seasons were still extremely low budget, very web series. Yes. We didn't know fully, like we knew that there was some traction, but we didn't know that it was going to be like more mainstream, I guess. And then season 3, things really kicked up. And I also feel like season 3, did we find out at the end of season 2 that we got picked up for like 40 more episodes or whatever?
I think so. I think what happened was that was the first dinner. We've had 2 dinners. There was like one dinner where it was like, oh, they're gonna renew the show for like maybe 24 episodes or 3 seasons or something in our world. And then there was another dinner where it was like, we're gonna renew it for like 6 seasons. like we knew in advance that we would have work for so long, which is probably why we were so comfortable for so long emotionally.
Emotionally comfortable. Well, and I will say that is completely unheard of. Yeah. Like to have that level of like, to have a network say yes, and not only like, yes, do we love this and we want to keep it going for another season, but you guys all have work for 60 more episodes, to kind of gift that to us as actors in the most insecure job, or one of the most insecure jobs you can have. It was like such a gift. I don't know. Like when you really think about it.
I kept trying while we were in it. I kept trying to be like, Evan, be as grateful as you can be. You're never going to have this kind of job security ever again in your life. Like I kept trying to remind myself of that because there's so much other stuff that gets in the way, right? Of that kind of like ability to just appreciate. But I tried as often as I could to be just thankful that I had any work coming at all for sure.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Yes.
You got that in the pipeline. You're good.
And look, like we won't harp on this too much, but like obviously there were limitations with budget and things like that. And things were challenging in some areas.
We were not rich.
No. I just want to make that clear to everybody listening. We are not.
No, I need to pay my mortgage. So I do need to book another job this year.
Exactly.
And I'm so thankful that I'm working again on another project because I'm like, okay, mortgage for another month, mortgage for another 2 months. Let's go.
This is the thing. So that is something to keep in mind. And it was nice to know that we at least could make some plans according to a salary that was reasonable for an extended period of time. I just I think there's always these misconceptions about like what, like I've seen sites being like, Michelle's worth $10 million. And I'm like, girl, no.
And there was more money over time, but we'll get into that later as we get to later seasons, you guys. But in this season, I believe both you and you were working at Earl's still, and I would have been working at a brewery during this season and throughout this season, right? Did you leave that job during this?
So end of season 2, I left. And not because I was like, and now I don't have to work anymore. It was because I would go to...
You're a fucking rocket.
Yeah, I'd go to work and I'd have bros come in, and it became like, certainly not like a security issue, but definitely like I felt very uncomfortable. And this is like, again, this like weird thing of having kind of notoriety and being out there, but not having the financial security to like provide yourself a little bit of a buffer.
Be able to say, I'm going to leave this job right away for sure and I'm good. Yeah. Like you still needed the job because like, again, it's not the pay structure isn't like that you're like now set for any length of time. So you needed to continue to work to feed yourself and live.
To feed myself and to pay my $800 a month rent, which is the cheapest rent. And isn't that crazy?
Damn.
I know.
That's how long ago Letterkenny was made? You were paying $800 a month for rent?
All of my friends were paying like $2,000 for rent. I lived in like the littlest
1800s.
Parkdale apartment, and I just like secured this crazy place.
The hallway apartment. You lived in just a single hallway with one window at the end where you looked out.
So that was the interim apartment before the actual apartment came available that I was actually waiting for. So that was I lived in a coffin for like 3 months, and it was
awesome. Brick, right? It's a brick coffin.
Yes,
which is cool.
A brick coffin.
Yeah, if you're gonna be in a coffin, at least it's made.
And I just gone through a breakup too, where I was like, where I was like kind of comfortable, to be fully honest, and then like I was like, I'm out here on my own and I live in a coffin. Okay, here we go.
So Toronto core.
Yeah, but I did also, I felt okay because I was employed.
And you knew you had work going forwards, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, look, I don't have a lot of money right now, but I know that next year there's going to be a little bit of a bump, and I have these like 6 episodes, and I can kind of like make some plans. And that's kind of the point of all this conversation.
Totally.
Regardless of the number, to have consistency and knowing a little bit of what's coming in our line of work is so fucking
everything.
uncommon.
It's such a gift.
It's such a gift.
Even if it's not like, oh, you can go buy a cottage. It's such a gift to know that you can afford to live.
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't come across as pathetic and or
entitled or
entitled. I want it to be in the middle. I didn't leave my part-time job until I think a few seasons later even. And it wasn't until one night where I had one night in particular where I was like, oh, I took photos with 5 different tables that I was like, this is no longer an acceptable profession for me to hold as a bartender, as a server. So I was like,
it was making you feel too.
I was very uncomfortable. I was so exposed, and it was also around the time when I would like tweet because I used to tweet a lot, and I'd be like,
not shocking.
Hey, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to the gay Babadook at TIFF tonight. Can't wait to see it. Which was just like they were just showing the Babadook and talking about how like the Babadook is always coming out of the closet. It was just like a fun event. And when I got there were like people waiting for me with like my headshots and stuff to sign, and I was like, oh, that's never happened before.
Yeah,
and that is when I kind of like things started pinging in my head, like, oh, I have to treat my own life a little differently and how I let people navigate around the world. Yeah. So it wasn't until a few seasons later, but actually the person who got me the job at the last Joe job I ever held, Ashley Tredenick, who was the Ritz Roids person in an episode where we sell drugs, Ritz not Roids. Yes, and then also comes back in an even later season as like the doctor, I believe, for the Up the Pooper stuff. Okay. I think, she's one of the only characters in the show who played 2 characters, or one of the only actors who played 2 separate characters. Okay. Unless it's the same character canonically. I don't know. It could be
who knows? You never know. We'll find out later.
We'll get there. I'm excited to have all those kind of people on the show who are in 1 episode or 2 episodes just to hear about their experiences.
Oh, yeah. And be like, what was your vibe coming onto this weird, wacky set? Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, to get back to season 2, like... it was such an interesting era for us because there was so much uncertainty still, but we knew that it was hitting for people.
It was good. It was working.
Yeah, we knew it was not only hitting for people, but I think we did also know that it was good. And that is like, to have both those things on top of the fact that we all got along to the extent that we did. I know we've talked about this before, but it's so
really
unbelievably rare. It's just so rare. And it's like you often work with great people and you make connections, but we were all just like from 0 to, I just clap my hands together for anybody just simply listening. We were just like a team right away. And I hate to use the word family because like, that shit in like kind of more corporate settings can be like abuse of power.
But there's more familial stuff in Letterkenny because we also didn't always get along. You know what I mean? Like it's real familial stuff where I'd like get into it with people and then we'd forgive each other and we'd make up, just like me and my brothers. Like it was actually, it felt very, we lived together, a lot of us. Oh yeah. Like for a lot of the show, we'd live in the same apartment complex at the very least. Yeah. But oftentimes even in the same house. And because it was so dialogue heavy, there was like a lot of like rehearsals and like back and forth. A lot of dinners at the Keg. A lot of rehearsals.
So many dinners at the Keg. Guys, the Keg is the unofficial restaurant of Letterkenny.
If the Keg would want to reach out to us and do a special...
we need them as a sponsor because...
We really do.
I'll say it. I love the keg. I went to the keg once at Calgary. I didn't have the best experience, but it wasn't because of the keg. It was because of the people that I was sitting next to at the bar. It was.
You can't account for that. You should wear loops. Have you ever worn loops?
What's that?
I have them in my pocket. They're it's just like, they're like sexy earplugs. They're earplugs that are kind of colorful and really cute, and they have varying levels of mute. And I wear them when I go out for dinner alone because it kills the ambient noise, but leaves the sounds of like music or the sounds of like, they're really clever. It's a really great design, and people can tell you're wearing them, but you can still hear when someone's talking to you one-on-one, but you can't really hear the person who's just like talking over there. They're perfect for the train, for the plane. I love loops.
That's kind of nice.
I love them. And I think it's maybe an auditory thing. I get very like distracted. So
Right. Okay.
Perfect.
That's interesting. I mean, I kind of like what I was hoping for the experience was for me to, I wanted to spy and then but also be totally left alone. I wanted to sit and listen to their conversation. But unfortunately what happened was I got looped in and people wanted to talk to me and that didn't even register.
I thought you were doing that on purpose. So you ended up having some rough convos with some strangers.
Yeah, just getting hit on by an elderly man. And then there was like a fight to my right where a guy threw a napkin at a girl and stormed out. And then we had to I had to talk to the girl and make sure she was okay. And it was just, it
sounds like the Calgary keg experience.
Yeah, it was a lot.
We went to an amazing steak place in Calgary though. Why didn't you just go back there?
Wait. What? Why don't I not remember this?
You and we went to an amazing steak place after the Comic-Con one day. We went to
oh my God.
It was great. The steak was perfect.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I know. I don't even remember what it's called though. Did you not even connect the dots that was Calgary as well?
Because honestly, when I think about memories with you and the Letterkenny people, it's almost like we've been so many places together.
It's true. We have 50 cities. Like it's true.
Well, that's the thing. And we'll get into tour stuff in the later episodes because there's so much.
There's so much to go over.
There's so
every
much to
city,
talk about.
You have to unpack every single city. It's crazy.
But a lot of these meals, like when you first initially said that, I was thinking about, remember when we got really dressed up, me, you and Dylan, and we went to the steakhouse in Washington?
Oh my God. And they made us wear suits because
and you guys had to wear suit jacket. You didn't borrow them.
I had to wear an extra large suit jacket. I looked like a child, and I was in like sweatpants and like this huge suit jacket. And this was like old timey steak place. I loved that dinner with you, me, and Dylan. Dinner. We had martinis. We had old fashions. We
ran home in the rain. Remember? We were so drunk and we ran home in the rain. Yeah. And also, Washington is a gorgeous city.
I love Washington. Yeah.
I loved it, and it was like the cobblestone, and we were in our gorgeous little outfits. I had my fancy little bag that I had just bought in Las Vegas.
They took my
looking
suit
like an idiot.
Back. Yeah, you looked great. Get out of here. You were dressed up. You knew where we were going. I wish I had known.
Did I not? I didn't give you guys a heads up. I did.
Not really.
I said it was like a 5-star steak place and we had to dress up.
So I didn't even consider it.
You didn't wear sweatpants.
I think you're
misremembering.
I think I may have.
You looked good.
Did I?
We entered prepared. You looked great, but you did need to borrow a suit jacket because you brought only a carry-on for 2 months on the road, which is psychotic.
Yo, I am so proud of that still.
I know. It's pretty cool.
It's like cabin's small carry-on, and I never once checked a bag, and I looked so casual. Yes, I wore the same thing every day.
Who cares?
I washed it. I found washing machines.
Yeah, you were a free man, and I was jealous because I had a huge suitcase.
You had the biggest bag in the world, but I had just watched Up in the Air with George Clooney and Anna Kendrick, and so I was inspired.
You were inspired. Fair enough. Well, fair enough. But yeah, that was a great night. And Dylan, I remember his hair was in a little ponytail man bun and he had a suit, and we were having deep conversations, and there was a lot of revelations during that dinner that were pretty profound, pretty shattering in some ways.
We were looking back on our entire life. We were yelling, we were talking. I just remember leaving that dinner being like, God, I hope no one around us was listening to us because we were just screaming at each other. Yeah. So personal, so funny.
It was a lot.
I was wasted. I drank so much that night.
I think that was the night that there was 2 nights. That was the one night that I was very drunk. And then the other night was when we partied on the bus until 4 a.m.
The gin night. Yes.
The gin night. And and the whiskey night. Because I was taking shots of whiskey, which I never do. But I was like, okay, I'm leaning in and then I'm going to DJ, which I love doing. And I played Remember you and I were DJing back and forth?
And they kept calling me DJ Explanation because I kept explaining why I was playing each song. But it was very important. I was like, and I'm transitioning now from Sean Paul because that was grade 8 and we're going to grade 9. And it's like this.
We loved it. It was so fun. And that was also the night where Jared does the thing. And again, if we've said this already, I'm sorry. But Jared does this thing where, wrestling, but also he loves when the boys take their tops off.
We all took our shirts off. I forgot. That's maybe the night that we did that TikTok where we took our shirts off.
So he does this thing where he'll turn up the heat really high, and then he'll go around to every guy and go, "It's hot in here. It's pretty. Are you hot? Take off your top. Yeah. Let's just kind of like loosen up because it's a bit too hot in here." And he's like cranked it up to like 36 degrees,
and we're also a dozen gin shots in, so it's like he's right. I am hot.
And to see all these boys with their like shirts off, dancing. It was so fucking funny. And then poor really Mark Forward in the back of the bus trying to sleep. Ooh. I thought he was going to kill us.
I honestly did think he was going to poison us at some point.
I mean, it's kind of deserved.
Yeah. And
like that was like an unhinged party to do like after a show nearing the end of the tour.
I'm trying to remember what show it was because I remember you and me were like, we need to find the school showers. I think it was that show.
Oh, right. What? And we did. And we found.
They were like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, we're in a school. There must be showers here somewhere. There must be like a gym.
And we were about to go on like an 8 or a 13-hour overnight bus ride.
Where were we going from and to? Do you think that was to?
Was it Boise or was it one of those? I think it was an East Coast. And then we were going back out west.
It was a long trip. Whatever it was like a big 9, 10, 12-hour drive, whatever, overnight. Yeah. And so we knew if we got drunk on the bus, we'd all pass out and wake up wherever we were going.
And then go back to sleep again. That was a tough morning on that bus. Yeah. But I remember Jared saying to me, he's like, you are so like 0 or 100.
Exactly.
Like
this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like you are always so like you're just kind of like calm. But like when you decide to go there,
you can go off. Yeah.
I'll go the full way.
Yeah.
And that was one of those nights and it was so fun. I feel like you're similar.
Yes. I'll always be in the middle a little bit. Like I'll always go out for 1 or 2 if you want me to. But then there's the occasional, but I'll always call it early.
Yeah.
Now, because I'm an adult now. But then if you want me to stay out late and you want me to do the thing and I'm going to go. Like I remember the night in Minneapolis with Hersey and Nate in particular. We like,
oh God, those two.
We went out because I was like, I think I have to go out with them just to like keep them alive is how I felt about that night. It was one of those nights where
they
I'm like,
needed a chaperone.
They had demons in their eyes and they were going to a cigar bar. And so I was like, they're going to be up all night. And so I went with them. I smoked cigars. We went to a hardcore bar. We like met locals. We went for pho. We like stayed out all fucking night. And we were like running around the streets, like howling, literally.
Yeah.
Like,
I can imagine.
It was a time. So I did go out that night. We had some fun.
Yeah, we had so much fun. And honestly, like the partying element of the show is it's so connected because the way we partied from like season 1, which was very much summer camp, kind of like giddy. And then season 2, it was like, oh, we are family and we're going to SRO. We're going to go to the clubs. We're going to like have these hotel parties. Like it was a weekend. We worked so hard during the week and then we would literally go out all weekend together. It was very intense. And I think it all adds to like the work is what
exactly. It funnels in. No, it did add to the work. It funneled into the show. And those first couple seasons, very SRO centric, very like balls to the wall. And then
SRO is the club in Sudbury called Standing Room Only, by the way.
And we no longer went there after I think this season.
Yeah.
I think season 2 was the end of SRO because we were there too often, getting too much bottle service, which I'm embarrassed to say.
So then we kind of started doing more house parties, and that was a great needed transition.
And the house parties were fantastic. Kiso had like a place on the water a lot of the times, and he hosted a lot of parties, thankfully. And those parties were always very fun, and a lot of card games played. Yeah, a lot of loud EDM. It was nice. It was a nice time.
It was nice. It was really fun. Yeah, and season 2 was very. it was like we were all so bonded in season 1, and then season 2 is like,
Gang's
okay, we're
back
all going to
together.
be, and we're going to be with each other for a long time. So we can really enjoy this and not feel like we have to like, you know, kind of create separation. Like we can actually get to know each other. Obviously like getting to know Ganya Dio more in season 2, getting to know Lisa more, and then having Clark join.
Yeah. Right at
was
the
so
end.
Meaningful for me. And obviously like Camila, yes, but she was so young still, like she was still a teenager. So we didn't really get to know her.
I know, it's too bad that we didn't get to know her till like kind of as the years go on, because she was so young and because she was kind of.
But it wasn't appropriate.
Yeah.
I got to know her on set. Like I totally got to know her on set, and she was always, I was like, love this girl. She's so cool, so smart. It's like so great.
It would have been nice if she started the show at 21, and then we could have like
because then she could have like come with us in a different way,
like dinner and stuff. Yeah,
but it was still meaningful and still a relationship that was like so. There. Oh yeah, and but it was season 2 was it just solidified it. I think the culture of the show. I think my favorite episode is probably Election and Relationships.
Good choices.
Out of this season, I can't really pick between the two. Election is so weird, and it's kind of like that fart book energy of it's a standalone, bizarre, like mixed media. Like it's kind of its own thing. And then Relationships is just such a solid Letterkenny episode, and it really shows the heart of the show and also like the ethics of the show in a really interesting non-pandering way, where it's like there's feminism is discussed and kind of like male-female dynamics, and it's punctuated by Glenn, who is kind of guiding us through that in a really constructive way that I thought was so smart. And I love that episode.
Those were great choices. I think I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. Like those are my two favorites in that. Maybe I'll just pick Election just because I'm gonna choose one.
Yeah,
and I particularly love seeing those sketches in Elections where you do get the hockey boys hanging out with like Stuart, and it's like something you never really see. Like you don't really get to see this in this way where like they're working together, and it's just such an odd, out of context thing shot by Teddy once again. So the B-roll, and I always felt like the B-roll stuff was always weird. It was always so out of character,
its own thing,
almost non-canon-esque. Like you doing the Carl's Jr. ad, almost non-canon, almost like what the fuck is Katie doing?
Yeah, and why?
But like it is funny.
And simply why.
It is funny, and it adds to the Letterkenny universe as like being this ridiculous, larger than the show. Like you can really those establish something that you can get away with basically anything in the show from then on. And
it's funny. Okay, do you watch Severance?
I don't.
Have you? Okay.
I don't, and I would love to, but I don't want to be. I can't watch something while it's in its hype.
That is an interesting thing about you. You said this before about things.
Yeah, I just can't.
Okay, fair enough.
But tell me about without spoiling.
Yeah, without spoiling. Season 1 for me was so masterfully done. Season 2, there's like really good elements still, but what I was kind of like, I hate when shows do this, where they get a little cocky and they start doing things just to be like, fuck it, let's do a full dance routine that isn't really earned or necessary.
Gotcha.
Jumping
the shark a little bit.
Yeah. Letterkenny, obviously, like the Carl's Jr. I'll use as an example, where it's like that could have been just like, they just wanted an opportunity to like XYZ, but because it works within the structure of that episode in a way that I hope other people agree with what I'm saying.
I don't think anyone thinks Carl's Jr. jumped the shark. Yeah, it feels part of the show.
Earned, and it feels like that makes sense. It's not just like fully indulgent. And I think Letterkenny towed the line really well always between like, it has to be earned, it has to make sense, but it's also, we're going to push it a bit to have fun and push our characters, but it's always going to come back to the core. It's never going to take people out and make them kind of be like, okay, guys. I mean, I say this, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the seasons go. But
I mean, there's like, the first thing that comes to my mind is a very divisive episode, which is the Chip episode, because it is such a weird, it's a fishbowl discussion. It's like this entirely new concept, and people either think it's the best episode that we made or it's the worst episode we made. And it was a super fun episode to make. That's all I remember. I just remember hanging out with all my friends and being like, what a fun episode. So that's the kind of stuff it does establish the groundwork for, though, like these weirder episodes.
But again, that's that happens so late in our
it's like 10 seasons from now.
Yeah. Like. So I kind of do feel like it's still sort of earned, because if you're watching season 10, you know the lore, you know the history, you know these characters, and a fishbowl conversation about chip flavors makes sense for these characters because they're small town. Their lives are small in a lot of ways, but they're also enormously meaningful to them. Right. So that's what makes it so funny and smart.
That's really nice, Michelle. That's nice.
Cool. Hey, thanks.
I like that.
Whereas there's moments in Severance where it's like they were kind of just like,
it's high concept, right?
Yeah, it's really high concept, but again, it feels too. There's moments. There's obviously
Letterkenny's high concept, dumb concept. It's like high concept stupidity, or
super low concept,
low concept genius. Like I don't know which one it is, but it's something.
I think
in
it's
there.
Low concept genius because it's literally just about small town people that are in different cliques. It's very high school coded. It's like we're all in like the high school of Letterkenny, and we're in different groups in the lunchroom, and occasionally somebody tries to sit with another table, and then there's like fight. Like that's kind of how simple it is, but what makes it so genius is obviously the writing.
These are their problems.
It's so simplistically smart. But I love season 2. I thought everybody really like brought it. You know, I think DeJordy, it's a tough loss because he brought everything to this role in a way that was really cool to watch and cool to experience, and then kind of watch back, because I have a lot of memories of him. He is a very good example of an actor who takes the work very fucking seriously. And as much as we can clown on actors, which we do,
and we will continue to do,
and we will always do, sometimes I go, well, you're kind of a fucking genius.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I wish I had a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and like there's something to be said for really living in your role, and he did that, and it translates in a way that is like pretty incredible and impressive. Like his work is really fucking impressive.
It is. And it's not going to work for everybody to do it like that, but it worked for him, which is good. You know?
Yeah, and
maybe it's not sustainable, but it worked for him.
I think
like you take up smoking, like you like all that sort of stuff. Like I don't know if that's the vibe. Like I don't know if I would ever. But he had his own process, and it was just kind of a joy to watch him. And I guess this is a little shout out to him, a little cheers to him, and we really appreciate my us drinking water. Empty water was just losers. Yeah, we love to party. Letterkenny's a party. My Fiji water.
But yeah, I do want to give him his flowers because he deserves it. And it was lovely getting to watch him, lovely working with him.
He helped establish the skids as the concept of the skids and the dynamic that exists within the skids of hierarchy and all that very clearly, which was nice. And there were 2 princes at one point in the skids, you know, vying for the kind of top spot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of exciting. It's kind of one of the only like plots of the show, like a heavy plot where someone gets, you know.
Yeah, and I think the transition out of the Geordie era into more the Roald Stewart era also works so well, and that could have not seen in a long
time.
No, but Ev, I'm telling you, it works, and it's like it could have been kind of a disaster, and it could have let people down. But you guys kind of came into new spaces together and created this whole new dynamic, which was also a joy. So, and that's really hard to do. And yes, we'll see it more as we go. We'll discuss it again.
Tyler's a bit of he's very clever with that. He's so good at like playing so strongly character that you're able to play off of him.
Yeah.
And
so are you. You did the exact same thing, and it works, and that was hard to achieve. So anyways, this was a great like first 2 seasons. I feel like season 3 we're entering a new era, and I'm really excited to continue this podcast and watch it, and also have some more guests on to talk about their experiences. So we've got some great guests coming up, of course. And we just want to obviously thank everybody for listening and watching this and riding with us, because it's been really fun so far.
Yeah, thank you so much. We've had such a good time, and the YouTube channel is doing very well, and we're seeing seeing a lot of people excited about the video content and leaving lots and lots of comments. And I do read them all.
Yeah.
So leave a lot of comments on the YouTube channel. Share it with your friends. Don't forget to rate the podcast on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast. Because, guys, it means the world to us. Thank you.
It does. And it really helps us out. And we'll hopefully make it so that we can continue to do this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be so cool. So this was just a fun little extra episode. We'll be back maybe with St. Perfect's Day next week.
Maybe.
If you guys,
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll discuss, but join in the chat because we want to know what you guys want. If you want us to go right into season 3, that's great. If you want us to do St. Perfect's Day, let us know. Okay. I love you, Evan. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, guys.